Sappy sexy bitches, these stories come from r/am I the asshole. Our first story is by Throwaway Pool Problem. Am I the asshole for ruining my brother's marriage because his wife left me at the pool? Throwaway. This whole situation is so bizarre that I still can't really process it. It still doesn't feel real, but I feel scared and guilty. I, 19 female, had surgery a couple days ago to get all 4 of my wisdom teeth out, and because I have a really bad fear of dentists, they had to drug me pretty hard to do the removal. Not like laughing gas that wears off really fast, but actual IV medicine, so I was pretty much unconscious during the whole thing. They told me to have a responsible adult drive me to the appointment and back because the meds they gave me would make it dangerous to drive. I would have asked my brother, but he works during the day while Bree's a stay-at-home mom to their 2-year-old daughter, who I think was at Bree mom's house that day. Bree agreed to take me to my appointment and the surgery went fine. Bree waited in the lobby for me to be done. When I came out of anesthesia, I was very disoriented and nauseous, which I guess is normal. I had gauze shoved in my mouth to stop any bleeding, and Bree took me to the car after I was let go. I don't really remember much of the drive, but it felt like not enough time had passed before Bree got out of the car and told me to come with her. I was really out of it and just followed her because the alternative was staying in the hot car. Long story short, we were at a pool. I was really confused, but once we're through the gate, Bree basically parked me at one of those little table benches and said she'd be back in a while. I was still trying not to puke and was really dizzy from the 90+ degree heat and the drugs, so I asked her to take me home, but she wouldn't. I guess since it was her day off and she didn't have my niece, she was meeting friends at the pool. I was starting to feel really sick and on the verge of passing out or having a panic attack, so I called my brother. I don't think he could understand me between the meds and the stuff in my mouth because he hung up, and I guess called Bree because she came stomping back over, cussing and yelling at me, and took me back to the car. I passed out on the drive home, but when we arrived, my brother had left work and met us in the driveway. He was screaming at Bree, and she was crying. I was still pretty disoriented, but my brother took me back home and stayed with me until the meds wore off. That's when he told me he's divorcing Bree because of what she did, plus some other things he didn't go into detail about. It's been a few days since then, and Bree's been blowing up my phone telling me what a bitch I am and how me tattling destroyed her family. Part of me feels bad because of my niece, and I wonder if I should have just dealt with it and waited for her to be done at the pool instead of calling my bro and causing problems. Am I the asshole? Straight the fuck up? No? No? How could you ever think that you're the asshole for being like, hey, the deal was this, you take me home, you know that I'm in deep sedation and it's shitty to come out of that. Like, why the fuck would you take me to a goddamn pool? It's gonna be very uncomfortable. I just want to be in an AC'd area and just let this shit wear off. No, you're absolutely not the fucking asshole, OP. This bitch is. Now, here's the thing, is like, what are those other things that your brother is not going into detail about that his wife did? That it was the other straws on that camel's back. I'm sorry. Nope. Bree kind of deserved that one. Straight up, because like, that's just shitty fucking behavior. What if that's the kind of woman that would leave her kid in a hot car? Or a car with it running, even with the AC on, just to go into a store quickly. No, you don't fucking do that. This woman sounds kind of rather irresponsible to a highest order. I can only imagine the other shit that she's done. So no, OP, you're not the a-hole. But you do have an update. I called my bro to check on things and thank him again to see how he and my niece are doing, and he told me a few things about Bree and why he's divorcing her. I don't think she cheated on him or anything like a lot of people in the original post thought. At least my brother never said anything about that. But you all read about the incident with me being the straw that broke the camel's back, and that I'm not the only victim of Bree being careless. A while back, I guess my bro came home early from work and found my niece, 2 years old, alone in their house with the front door unlocked. He called Bree 3 or 4 times, no answer, and she came into the front door right before he was about to call the cops. Apparently, she went to the convenience store, like a 5-minute drive from her place, and left my niece alone by herself. When my brother yelled at her, she said it was fine because nothing bad happened. And when he said the door was unlocked, she just said she must have forgotten it and it wasn't a big deal. Her phone was silenced on the charger in the bedroom, which is why she didn't answer when he called. Bree called him dramatic and told him to stop telling her how to parent and that niece was fine for 20 minutes while she shopped for dinner stuff. My bro is taking some time off work to take care of my niece because he kicked Bree out of the house the same day I had my surgery. She is staying in a hotel that my bro is paying for, and he gave her 2 weeks, more like 1.5 now, to find a place before he quits paying for it. He says he's going for full custody because Bree is a danger to my niece and doesn't trust her anymore. She tried to argue when he kicked her out, but she threatened to call the police for what she did to me, which I guess scared her because she left. Sorry it isn't a very exciting update, but that's all bro would tell me. I think this isn't the first time Bree neglected niece too, but he said he's doing what it takes to make sure it doesn't happen again. He also said he doesn't think that Bree is completely malicious, but is extremely careless and doesn't believe her actions affect other people, which is why she can't be trusted not to hurt others by being selfish. Wow! It sounds like Bree has absolutely zero self-awareness at all and needs to have an incredible crash course into it, especially if she is a mom. I mean, she may not be having full custody here pretty quick. I don't know when this was posted, but still, like, you need to not leave kids at home alone or in cars, or what the fuck is wrong with you that you think that you could do that? And like I said before I even read the update, the straw that broke the camel's back, that was the last one. What else has this Bree character woman been doing that is just like this bullshit that she pulled with OP? Okay, the niece is one thing. How many times has she done it with the niece? And how many times has she done it with other things? And how many times has she just forgotten about other important shit? It's just like, no, don't need that. Don't fucking need that. Can't rely on you. Don't need you. Move the fuck on. I think the brother did the most responsible thing as a parent, as divorce and get full fucking custody. Here's to you, buddy. I hope you did it. Our next story comes from I'm on vacation. Am I the asshole? I went on vacation with my friend and her family, and they kicked me out. I got my own room and stayed. I am in college, and my roommate from last year, Meg, whose family is really rich, said she could bring a friend on vacation. It was kind of awkward. I was her third choice, but her family vetoed the first two because they didn't want her to bring a boy or this other female friend of hers they disliked. Her parents bought me a plane ticket and booked the resort, which I was grateful for, and I saved a lot of money up so I could make sure I buy my own food and activities when I'm there, and treat her family to dinner as a thank you for my ticket. But when the trip started, it was just bad. It was her, me, her mother, her father, two of her father's friends, and her three brothers going. On the flight, they got all first class and got me a economy seat, but I didn't say anything because why argue about a free ticket? The first night they went to a grocery. It turns out they wanted to cook at the resort kitchen for the whole trip. And by they wanted to cook, it actually turns out they wanted me and Meg to cook. I wasn't warned about this, but it turns out Meg's family is so traditional that they see cooking as a woman's job, and her mom just had hand surgery. So it was me and Meg cooking every meal for 6 men and her mom, and I can't cook well. I know a couple staple meals to feed myself, but since I rarely eat meat, I don't know how to cook it. I'm also okay with cooking for 1 or 2, but I have no patience for cooking for a group of 9. I screwed it up, undercooked chicken, and overcooked some steak, and her dad was angry with me. I got short with him and told him that if he knew how to do it better, he could pitch in instead of standing around criticizing. But he got furious and said he was on vacation. I said that I was trying to have a vacation too, or did they invite me to be the unpaid domestic servant? Meg's parents and dad's friends got angry I said that and started yelling at me. The argument escalated and I sarcastically called myself the help. His dad snapped at me and told me to get out of their suite and go home. Didn't say shit about how he expected me to do that. I left and called the airline with my ticket and asked them if they could do anything to prevent anyone else from modifying or canceling my ticket. They let me set a passcode and no changes could be made to the flight without it. Then I went to the resort desk to ask about rooms, saying I was stranded unexpectedly. They actually did have some affordable rooms available because of a weekly discount, so I got housing and still had money left over for touristy stuff. I went sightseeing and relaxed on the beach for 3 days until Meg's parents ran into me. They were taking a sunset walk and did a double take to see me on the beach. They said they thought I was going home, and I said I decided to stay. They were angry because they saw me staying and using the return flight as having deceived them into thinking I couldn't afford a vacation, and using them as flights when I could actually afford things. Am I the asshole for staying on vacation and using the flight home? Hell freaking no, you are not OP! There is no way in this universe that you are the a-hole in this entire situation. That family is the major a-hole. Holy shite. Do they get a fucking good 3.5 finger poke? Good 3 finger stretch going on in there. You know what? And I totally forgot to stretch out the fucking first person from the first story. Bree, considering the amount of shit that you did, you're gonna get a fucking good 4 fingers in your anus, my girl. Bree, 4 finger stretch. These people in this story, that fucking family, these parents, fuck them all. They all get a fucking 4 fingers. You know what? Everyone gets 4 fingers. Don't even care. The parents, the husband's friends, Bree, they're all getting fucking 4 fingers. These parents, Seriously, they can go fucking fuck themselves. I'm rich. I'm gonna invite you on this because you're poor, and this is the reward that you gotta be in another country, but you're gonna fucking work for us the entire time as in-help slave or labor, but we don't want to call it that because, you know, we don't want that stigma on our name or nothing. And like, go fuck yourselves. OP did the perfect thing of staying. Our last story is from Ain't No Worries Zero. Am I the asshole for leaving my in-laws' house when my daughter actually told me she was feeling uncomfortable? I, male 37, have been with my fiance, female 37, for 2 years. We're getting married soon. I've only met her family a couple times. My daughter, Judy, female 16, has never met them till very recently, where they hosted a dinner to celebrate the 4th of July, and that's when they met her for the first time. Judy has a visible burn scar on her forehead. It was due to an accident she was in when she was 9. She used to be incredibly insecure about it, to the point where I was forced to homeschool her. And it was hard trying to deal with and navigate through this rough time. Now she's doing a lot better, though some comments can really cause her to become stressed out and anxious. My fiance knows all about and respects it. Before we went to her parents' house, I asked her to tell them about Judy and her struggle and to get them to not say anything negative or even possibly mention it. She said she would guarantee no one will say anything. We got to the event and they talked to Judy and she slowly warmed up to them. Everything was going well till it was dinner time. Then future mother-in-law looked at Judy while she was eating and pointed at her scar, basically asking questions about it, which made Judy lose her appetite and start to get uncomfortable. I kept sending my fiance and her mom signs to knock it off, but to no avail. Finally, future mother-in-law then brought up the wedding and asked my fiance if it'd be possible to Photoshop the scar out of the wedding photos that will have Judy in them, just in case they distract viewers. I was dumbfounded. Fiance said nothing, just stared casually while nodding. I looked at Judy and it was clear this got to her. I leaned closer and asked if she was feeling uncomfortable and that we could leave if the answer was yes. She took her time and then nodded and said, yes, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now. I got up and told her to get ready because we're leaving. My fiance and her mom and the family started insisting that we finish dinner and stay, but I refused. I took Judy and got in the car and left before even talking to my fiance. Obviously, she was pissed. She called and was angry, talking about how I disrespected her and her parents by taking Judy and leaving in the middle of dinner and not even saying goodbye. I told her that Judy was feeling uncomfortable with future mother-in-law's comments and questions. She said Judy overreacted and is in need to go back to therapy if a simple mention of her scar caused her to react that way. I got tired of arguing and asked her to give us some time, but she went on me and said I have no respect for her and her family and that what I did was irrational, and now she won't speak to me till I clear things up with her family after ruining this celebratory dinner. There is nothing wrong with what you did of taking your daughter out of that uncomfortable situation, and very huge kudos for you even doing that. A lot of people would be like, no, just settle through it, you're not gonna ruin this relationship for me. No, you're a fucking great dad. Fuck her parents, fuck her. She deserved 2 fingers in her anus. They deserve an easy fucking 4 fingers in her anus. You deserve absolutely nothing. Maybe a little tickle for not actually saying goodbye or explaining the situation. Be like, hey daughter, I'll meet you over there. And then coming back to the table and be like, hey, this is why I'm leaving. What you did was disgusting. I can't be part of this. You owe me an apology. But no, that family and the woman, the fiancé, wants an apology from you for just leaving. I stand by your decision of taking your daughter that was uncomfortable in that situation and leaving. That was perfect. That was amazing and fine. That was very mature. But you probably could have said a little bit of like, hey, don't fucking do that. I'm leaving because of you. This is the reason why I'm gone. Anyway, good on you, OP. That was r/am I the asshole. Hit the subscribe button and the bell to see more videos. Later, everyone.